Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash, showing us in double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. I say much peace, love, and salutations to Yakim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, sincerity and truth. This is brother Ariala. And this is another mindset video. I was just talking to the breadwinners of camps. To the breadwinners. You got certain brothers in different camps. You might have a better job or a better place financially than other brothers in the camp. And, the Most High sets that up, you know, because He knows that we all need our daily bread. And he knows that there are certain resources that it takes in order to push this ministry. And there's all different types of administrations and gifts and positions that are out there. And, hospitality and finances and the gift of alms is something that is needed in the camp, you know. And so, we have to be mindful of that here in Romans, the 12th chapter. In the 9th verse, it says, let love be without dissimulation, abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love, and honor preferring one another, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Okay? It says, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Right? And so you got to have a spirit, that agape spirit, and sometimes it can be difficult navigating, within the brotherhood. You got brothers that you get a better job situation, or you come into some money. It's not necessarily everybody's business in the camp how much money you got, and that's why it's important to, communicate with maybe your ranking officer and everything like that. How to distribute. Of course, we give our tithes, we send our tithes, but you brothers should be pooling resources amongst yourselves. And sometimes, according to the strength of what a brother has, there's going to be a little bit more coming from, that particular brother, coming from you. And you got to have that spirit inside of you, and knowing that you're being given to hospitality. I'm not saying being foolish and just throwing your money away. I remember when I first came into having a good job or a better job, and I ain't never had that much money before. I was just throwing money around all over the place, buying stuff for brothers, and but a lot of money was wasted. But once you mature and you learn how to have money in your pocket, you learn how to distribute and help in the spots where it's needed. Okay, because brothers will unintentionally leech off of you, or intentionally, if you just giving money out all the goddamn time and you're not paying attention to what you're doing, man. So it does take certain levels of maturity and experience to understand how to move in this thing. Here in 1 Timothy chapter 6, in the 17th verse, it says, charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living power, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. That they do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate. So these are some of the attributes that you got to put onto yourself. If you're, maybe you're making strong six figures within the camp, or maybe you got a nest egg or something that was entrusted unto you. You got to make sure that you don't get high-minded, because that's what happens when Jake gets a pocket of cash. He get high-minded. I remember my dad, I knew when he got paid, because he was a totally different person. He walked with a certain walk that I was like, he got money in his pocket. He got paid. Laughing all loud, teeth showing, strutting. And Jake don't know how to have money in their pocket, man. But the Most High might bless you with funds. You got to understand to move spiritually. That you do good, be rich in works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate. And when we're talking about willing to communicate, it don't mean humble bragging, because that's what happens too. Oh, since I got this money, what I'm saying, I was like, well, I can get you whatever you need. I got you, bro. No, I ain't talking about that. Is working within order, working within the order of the camp. to make sure everything is taken care of, and if you need to help out and move things around, then do so. Okay, because you're helping the ministry forward itself, right? You're not just throwing mud at the wall, slinging mud at the wall, so to speak. Got to be mindful. Got to be mindful, because making money within the camp is a part of the administration. Okay, but it has to be communicated. Okay, because you got Jake that's making good money, but they're sacrificing the ministry to do so. So you got to watch out for that too. There's got to be a balance. If you ain't never at class, you ain't never at camp, can't do no sit downs. You're just unavailable because you got to make this money. Well, then now you're making the money the main thing instead of the being rich in good works through the ministry, which should be the main thing. Okay, so you gotta watch out for that, man. Verse 19 says, laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. Okay, so all of these things are still building up spiritual riches, spiritual treasures, even though you might be helping provide for the camp with carnal means, so to speak. You know, we just have to understand that. All right. So, when you read here in 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, it talks about spiritual gifts. And it talks about how there's diversity in gifts, right? But it's from the same Spirit, difference in administrations, but one Lord, same Lord. All right? And so, I'm not going to go ahead and read through this. You can read through it, but as you read through it, you understand that the Most High might bless you with that administration, to help with the treasury, help build it up and everything like that, especially if you only got 4 to 8 men in your camp. Once you start with a bigger camp with bigger numbers, it might not be that big of a deal, because if you got 40 men in the camp, everybody put $10 on it. You know what I'm saying? We can get what we need pretty much. Everybody put $20 on it. We good. But if it's 4 to 8 men, and most of the brothers pretty much got living check to check, doing the best they can, but that's really all they got, and you blessed, it goes like that. Yeah, so you'll have to make do with it, with what resources certain brothers have, and if you have more, then hey, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, you would end up giving more. And pulling our money is something, especially when you read in the New Testament, Acts and Corinthians, Paul talks about it. We pulled our resources together to make things work. Here, after Pentecost, here in the book of Acts, the 2nd chapter, in the 44th verse, it says, and all that believed were together and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men as every man had need. And they continued daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, they eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart. Right? So, during these times, Jake was just coming together, pulling their resources, selling what they had to push forward the ministry. All right? And we do the same thing here now that in these times, man. We pull our resources, brothers come together, and certain brothers have more, certain brothers have less. And we may make it work so the camp can move, but you can't move like a nigga, man. And you can't be doing things with a grudge in your heart. The Most High don't like that, and it'll come out too. It'll come out. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6. In the NLT, it says, "Remember this: a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop. But the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. You must each decide in your heart or in your mind how much to give, and not give reluctantly or in response to pressure. For the Most High loves a person who gives cheerfully. And the Most High will generously provide all you need. Then you will always have everything you need and plenty left over to share with others. As the scriptures say, they share freely and give generously to the poor. Their good deeds will be remembered forever." So, brothers that's blessed, as breadwinners, have more money to, as you generously sow into the camp and help the camp function, and sow into the apostles and the bishops. Hey, the Most High is watching those things because you helping the brothers go out there and push His work and keep their mind in the faith and in the truth, man. Because money issues is a distraction. When you broke, it's hard to concentrate sometimes, man. You know, and when you got too much money, it's hard to concentrate sometimes. That's why the Paul talks about being abound and being abased and knowing how to be content. Scriptures talk about, you know, just having just enough to get by, so you can just focus on what you need to focus on. Okay. So you don't want to be caught, like chasing for riches, and we've all been in that place. I've been in that place. You got to watch out for that, man. Chasing after riches, and you know, I'm to a place now in this walk to where it's just like, hey, we're just gonna grind this thing out and make it work. Go to work, do the work, work out, just like the brothers out there in the West Coast say. Okay, and just, you know, get through this thing, right? This is Sirach chapter 29, and verse 8 in the GNT. It says, "Nevertheless, be understanding with those who are poor. Don't keep them waiting for your generosity. The Lord has commanded us to help the poor. Don't refuse them the help they need. It is better to lose your money by helping a relative or a friend or a brother." All right, this is a relative or a friend, who is my mother, who is my brother, except those that do the will of the Lord. That's what it's talking about, working amongst the Akyam. All right? It's better to lose your money to help a relative or friend than to lose it by letting it rust away under a rock. Use your wealth as the Most High have commanded. This will do you more good than keeping your money for yourself. Count among your treasures the fact that you give to the poor. It will save you from all kinds of trouble and will be a better defense against your enemies than the strongest shield or stoutest spear, right? Because when brothers have the camaraderie and generosity and love amongst each other, that builds trust, and that energy vibrates, man. All right, and it glorifies Yahweh Shema Shah when brothers are on one accord with one another, man. All right, now on the back side of that thing, don't just be. There's order to this thing. All right. So I'm gonna tell you right now, you got certain brothers that's in our camp that make great money, and then you got other brothers that might come up in need. You don't just run up to that brother asking him for some money, man. All right, things have to be reported up. So it's maybe a young brother, or maybe even an officer, you know, a brother of rank might be coming to an issue. It gets reported. We don't just individually, you know, behind the scenes be hitting people up for funds. Okay? You've had certain scandals back in the day where guys just hitting brothers up on YouTube, hitting them up in their DMs. Hey, man, brother, I'm up on hard times, man. I was just wondering if you could cash out me $25. Lo and behold, he done did that to 15 guys, man. And he just and he just rotates who he hits up each month. That's why everything must be reported, even if it's something small. It's accounted for. All right, we're stewards. Stewards keep a ledger of what's going on in the household. What comes in, what comes out. Now, any of you brothers that work retail, you understand you can't leave that register without the ledger being right. If there's penny missing, it needs to be accounted for. Where's that missing penny? I remember I used to work at HEB, which is down here in the South, a region of grocery stores back when I was in high school. I remember one guy, he would always come a penny or two short. He got rolled up, and he threw a big temper tantrum. He's like, man, it's only 2 cents, man. It's only 2 cents, man. But that was like the third time he came up short by a penny or 2 cents. And they wasn't playing with the dude, man. They're like, where the money at? So likewise within the camps, all these things must be taken seriously. So if you do got bread, and you know, of course, you want to give the money to a brother, no, man, it needs to be reported in. Don't just be sliding nobody no money on the side all the goddamn time, man. All right? Because at certain times a brother be asking for money, you don't give it to him, because he needs to figure it out. He needs to grow the hell up. All right. There's certain situations, certain brothers ask for some money. It's like, nah, figure it out. And what do? They figure it out. The brothers is just, young men, just, never really been out by themselves probably before, learning how to grow the fuck up, be responsible, learn how to budget your bank account, and all those things have to be done, man. How we gonna be kings and priests and you can't even look at your bank account and take yourself seriously, you know? So you gotta watch out for those things too. All right. That's why it says this in Sirach chapter 14. All right. In verse 3, riches are not comely for a niggard. And what should an envious man do with money? All right. So, it's not comely for a niggard or a stupid, simple person to come into bread. They just going to lose it. All right. They're just going to waste it. So the gift or the administration of having funds and helping distribute that amongst the camp. And another way that brothers give to the camp is their hospitality with their crib. You might have brothers in the camp. They got kids. They got a wife. Brothers don't want to be all up in their brother house. But if you're single by yourself, got space, you might be the camp house for a while. And that, hey, it's not the easiest thing. Chicks spilling wine on your carpet, breaking chairs, sitting down on the chair break, loud. You got to deal with it, man. That's part of being in this ministry and being hospitable. Okay? And brothers that have rank and here in Dallas, at one point in time, most of these brothers have been in the camp house. My house was Elder Yashawamba, Yadakai, several brothers, Sign Nalawin used to be in the camp, Mike Allah, now Priest Shahar and Kadar. We go over there and have class, cook, whatever. Several brothers, man, but after a certain period of time, you don't, the brothers be at your crib, man, and it's okay, man, because these things are being stored up in heaven. Their charity is being stored up in heaven, and you gotta have that mindset for that. Man. Okay. So just understand, brothers that might have better jobs and making more money or whatever, as long as it's not interfering with your ability to do this ministry, that's a part of this thing too. Being able to pool your money and help out and have resources for brothers, but that it needs to be done in order. Not just handing out bread, giving different people money when they come up and no, it needs to be done decently in order, man. It needs to be ran through the officers and making sure things are done on point. All right. So I just wanted to talk about this because these are things that happen within the camp. Okay. First Peter chapter 4, verse 8, and it says, "And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins." All right, because you got certain guys that they don't want to open up their house for brothers. They don't want to give a little extra when they can. Most High sees that. Most High sees it. Verse 9, it says, "Use hospitality one to another without grudging." So if you being hospitable, you opening your doors for brothers, but you got that grudging spirit inside of you, all mad because the brother's there, all in your space. You want to do this, but you can't because the brother. No, man. It says use hospitality one to another without grudging. All right, it's a blessing to have brothers over there, man. And it's all for a period of time. But you gotta embrace it. You gotta embrace it. We all go through it, man. And it could be years, man. Okay? The Most High is taking you through that for a purpose. Embrace it. And you know what you say? Call halal Yahbashim Yahushua. That the Most High has entrusted me to be here, to be hospitable and take care of these men. And help take care of these men. And Yahbashim Yahushua give me the strength to do it for as long as I need to do it. You gotta have that spirit, okay? I remember, brothers be at my house. They spend the night. Brothers be up so damn late. I had to go to work in the morning. I just go lay down, go to sleep, and they just do their thing. Oh well, it'll be all right. Now that I'm older, I be missing having brothers at my crib. You know, I be wanting brothers to come over. You know, so things are cyclical, bro. It's cyclical. Verse 10 says, "As every man that receiveth the gift, even so minister the same one unto another as good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High." Okay? So, yeah, man, I just wanted to touch on that, man. Lord willing is edifying, man. I'm going to say, call halal, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you, Akiam out there. Pushing the word of Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, sincerity, truth, shalom.